In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our divine reminder and warner that's in our midst. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Jock Brothers Presents. Let us make man. This is a podcast of brothers that desires nothing more than to present to you a positive image of what a striving man and God should be. For we all are family men who love our children. We all are businessmen. We all are youth mentors, and we all work hard in our communities to make it a decent and safe place to live. When putting this podcast together, we decided to govern our actions by three rules. One was to put God first in all that we do. Two was to present content to podcasts that can make you a better you. And three, to showcase brotherhood and unity amongst men that you could be proud of. My name is Brother Abdul Kawi Muhammad. I be your host and moderator for tonight. I'm a brother that's very interested in the beginning of things, root of things, motivations and inspirations. So I hope you like those type of questions. I want to introduce you to our other host of the podcast. Brother is born and raised in New York City. This brother here is the promoter of the show. He's producer of the show. If look, I honestly, I tell this to everybody. If you have an organization or a business that you want to get off the ground, that you want it to move, you got to call this brother right here, my brother Ahmed Bi. Go ahead, brother Ahmed.
Thank you, Brother Kawi. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules. My name is Brother Ahmed. We are Jock Brothers. We can be seen live 7 p.m. or 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday nights. You can view us on YouTube. You can also view us on Facebook. You can comment on YouTube when we're live, or just leave a message for us in our email, which is jockbrothersviewers@gmail.com, jockbrothersviewers@gmail.com. We're also youth mentors. And we work in our community, and you can support us by sending any donations to the Cash App scrolling at the bottom of the screen, $Jock Bros, $Jock Bros. Again, any information that you want to give us for any of our shows or any comments, you can comment at jockbrothersviewers@gmail.com. Thank you all for tuning in. Back to you, Brother Kawi.
Praise be to Allah. Let's get right to work. Um, Definitely want to introduce this next guest to you. He is a brother of the Jock Brothers. We might as well call him a Jock brother. He's been
Watch
on the
out
show
now.
several
Watch out.
times. He played a pivotal role in being our big brother during a trying time with the Jock Brothers. We love him to death. He's been in the Nation of Islam. This is his 30th year under the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and guidance of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. This is a brother you're looking at that's been married for 24 years. And he's been the active student minister of Miles 46 for the last 21 years. With no further ado, and with the Jock Brothers round of applause, I'm going to keep it very simple. Our brother, student minister Willie Muhammad.
All praises
Yes,
due to Allah. All praises due to Allah. And thank you all, brothers, for your consistency, for continuing to keep this show, for the guests that you all have, and exposing the world and even members of the Nation of Islam to your guests. And I'm grateful, and I give all praises due to Allah. And thank you all for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Praise
Thank you.
be to Allah.
Yeah,
Well, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Courtship. We titled this show Single Socials, the beginning of Black love. I mean, that's the backbone of the nation, marriages. We definitely want to bring on a type of brother that could guide us in the process of finding your mate. My first question, I'm gonna get right to it. What makes this brother particularly qualified? What uniquely make you qualified to address this type of a subject, sir?
You know, man, I never feel qualified like I'm an expert on anything, but I will say that as being a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, if I'm sharing what I've heard him say about this topic, then in a sense that's a qualification, right? But as I was talking to you before, I have actually going through a courtship process prior to my 24 years of marriage. I have, in preparation for courtship and for marriage, I watch as much of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's lectures on marriage as anything I can get my hands on from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the minister about courtship and marriage. I consumed it, and I still consume it now when I have the opportunity. I've had the opportunity to conduct various workshops on courtship and marriage. I've spoken on it, you know, and been able to give guidance and counsel to those who are considering courtship and are courting. So that's where I share from. I'm not sharing from the standpoint like I'm a know-it-all, because I don't. I'm still, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has access to refer to ourselves, as a student of courtship. And I'm being blessed to be on this show tonight because I've been asked to be a presenter at the upcoming Jacksonville Single Social. This is the second year, and I want to give a mighty shout out to our sister Angela Muhammad. Putting on these type of events are not free from with their challenges, right? But she's been doing it, her and the staff there. And I also want to give a shout out to the mosque leadership there, the brother student minister, brother Nolan Muhammad, and the student captain, brother Fred, and also the student MGT captain, and all of the laborers and the believers are there. So I'm just here to share what your brother is learning in the classroom, as we all are in that classroom.
Praise be to Allah.
But I know you counsel and deal with not only Muslims but Christians. You deal with even those in the community that are non-denomination. How do you present, or do you present, courtship as a means of starting or getting a stronger bond in a relationship?
You know, for those of us who are in the Nation of Islam, the idea of courtship is easier to approach because that's our way. We don't teach just jumping into a marriage. No, we're taught that prior to a marriage, you have to go through courtship. So with believers in the Nation of Islam, it's easy because it's our culture, it's our way. We can talk about it. But as it relates to those who are not in the Nation of Islam, you know, I tried to present them with the principles that we find in courtship, which is to strive hard to be free from engaging in intimacy, sexual intimacy prior to marriage, and to enter into courtship with the intent to follow the principle of learning what one must do, or the mindset that one must have in order to select a mate, right? So those principles and the principles of self-examining ourselves, having an idea as a man what type of helpmeet that we want, and as a woman understand what it means to be a helpmeet, right? So I try to present them with that. And in fact, inshallah, in October, the second weekend of October, I'm scheduled to marry a couple who they are not members of the Nation of Islam. And prior to that, we're going to do some counseling sessions, right? So I tried to give them the principles, but for those who are in the Nation of Islam, we go more into detail about the actual courtship. Now, if there are those who are not in the Nation of Islam who want to practice or try the courtship procedure prior to getting married, of course, we'll be willing to give them the information so that they can actually try it.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. A couple of questions came out of that, but I'm gonna wait for that. I really want to get to this question right here because I was having a conversation with Sister Nasaba at one time, and she asked me, you know, like, brother, you know, are you courting yet? And she asked me, she said, do you really want to go into this dark hour when the minister is about to depart and you don't have a wife? With that being said, that was kind of heavy. That was kind of heavy on me. Can you? I don't know. What would you think about the question like that? What would be your opinion of that question? Or that statement?
I definitely can understand what she said. Who wants to go through this rocky or this dark period where you have no one in your corner? But I think in addition to that, to making sure that you have the right person in your corner going through this dark time. Because sometimes if you can't find the right person, then it may be beneficial for you to hold fast and not go just jump into a marriage just to say that we have someone, but make sure it's the right person. You see what I'm saying? So I think that is it. And we have to be honest with ourselves. One of the principles that I try to present to those of us in the Nation of Islam who are single when they are considering courtship is found in what we find in the teachings about the originator, the self-creator, the self-creation of the originator. Think about that process. And to me, there's a principle that can be found in that process that can be beneficial to those who are thinking about marriage and courtship. We taught that the originator self-created himself. And after going through that process, there was a process where he was by himself. He was single. He was solo. But in that process, what he did after looking at himself, he engaged in the process of self-improvement where he began to start self-analyzing himself, self-examining himself. And it was through that process that helped him to understand that he needed to help him come to the conclusion that a helpmeet was needed. And based upon his self-examination of himself, he knew what type of helpmeet that he needed to be able to continue the process of keeping life going on into the eons, into the future. He knew what that individual would need to have, right? He knew that this individual would have to have the ability to be able to counsel, to give him consolement. And we don't talk much about that when we talk about the originator, but that was a reality. So for those who are in this process, who want to be in this process, how much time have you spent examining yourself? How much time have we spent with a self-analysis of ourselves? And then based upon that self-examination and that self-analysis, what have we done to make various corrections in our life? And based upon that self-analysis and self-examination, what type of helpmeet do we need? Because all of us are three different men on here, right? We have different needs and different wants. So what we may want in a helpmeet is different. And this is why, brothers and sisters, that we can't afford to skip what is known as self-improvement. And self-improvement doesn't just take place, or it shouldn't just take place on a Friday at a study group or at a mosque, right? We should be engaging in that, especially should be engaging in that as we begin to try to select a mate to bring into our life.
Beautiful. Student Mr. Willie, do the man and the female, the brother and sister, do they govern love the same way?
No, I don't think we govern love the same way or see love the same way, because our natures are different, right? If you look at the biological structure of the man and woman, we're different. Look at the physical body, we're different, right? And in this world where we constantly have these male and female, these battle of the sexes, a lot of times people interpret a discussion about the differences between men and women. They see that some people try to immediately jump to, or you're trying to say one is better than the other. And what happens is in that battle, we end up ignoring the fact that we are different. That means that we see things different, right? That means that we approach things different. And if we don't pay attention to those differences, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says in the Torchlight for America in the section dealing with male and female relationships, he said our natures are meant to complement one another. But he said absence a proper relationship with God and a proper knowledge of our differences as male and female, what's meant to complement begins to be destructive. So we do approach it differently in a way, because with a woman, think about this is a human being that produces another human being from her actual body that she holds in her body for several months, that this life nurses from her body. How does that affect her? And the same thing is different as it relates to a man. We provide the seed, and we think more also about, of course, nurturing the child. But our experience with the child is not the experience like that the mother has, nor is the experience with the mother's experience with the child like the father's experience with the child is different, right? So we have to take all of those things into to factor. A book that I like, and I like this book because it bears witness to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when it talks about men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Mm-hmm. And what this man is talking about, he's using that analogy to teach principles about relationships that we are already introduced to as members of the Nation of Islam through the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that talks about the differences in the nature of the man and the woman.
That's right.
We are different. When they even looked at the brain of the man and the woman, they said that the woman brain has these connections that connect both halves of the hemisphere of the brain more than the man. Not saying that the men think less, but we are different. So we really have to begin to start studying those. We have to study those differences that exist between both man and woman and learn about them so that they can be more of a complementing to one another rather than competing forces.
Praise be to Allah. Student Mr. Will, if you take the time, can you introduce our brother right here?
This is our brother who is you see his face on the fly. He's from the great city of Jacksonville as well, right? And
Pensacola.
Pensacola is from Pensacola, but he will be, inshallah, in Jacksonville. Our brother who wrote a book, and one of his books is YNFO, I'm paraphrasing, YNFOI should marry an MGT. Is that right, brother Mustafa?
10 reasons why an FOI should not date, court, or marry a woman other than an MGT.
There you go.
Wow.
Not one reason, but 10 reasons.
But 10. Wow. Wow. Well, I want to hear him, brother.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, welcome to the Job Brothers. I appreciate you taking our invitation, brother.
Yes, sir. All praise due to Allah. Bear witness there's no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. The number one reason I put is, the minister told us not to do that our women are for us and we are for our women. So if you're a real FOI, I like to say it like this. If you're a real FOI, you eat bean pie, you eat bean soup, you drill in your sleep, this your whole life, this what you about 24/7, then you want to come home to a woman where you can talk about the reality of being a Muslim in America, particularly in the Nation of Islam. You want to talk about soldier stories. You want to talk about the black man is God, or God coming in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. If you go outside and get other than an MGT, brother, what you gonna do when December 25th come and your woman want to put up a Christmas tree, but you a stone hard FOI and you ain't about that? Savior's Day is our holiday. Holy Day of Atonement is our holiday. Ramadan is our day. What you gonna do when you put the Christmas tree up? What you gonna do when she got the pork cracklings under the bed that she hid when she heard you coming through the door, and she just hid the pork cracklings?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
I was just running down some reason. What are you gonna do when you are a man of civilization as an FOI? And you have to argue with your woman about wearing some inappropriate clothes, which is out of our culture.
Is that still the first reason?
Oh no, sir. I'm running down the reason now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the number one reason, because the minister say we shouldn't do that. Now that should end the book right there, but the other 9 reasons, just in case that wasn't enough.
Praise be to Allah. And where can we get this book? Is it on Amazon, or is it?
It's available on
copies.
It's available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback versions. And those brothers that do come to Jacksonville, there's a copy available for them. So it's a little incentive to come on to Jacksonville. I know it's a hurricane coming, but we know who make rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Student Mr. Willie, I got a question through my text. It didn't come on the screen here.
Okay.
It said you describe how a man should find their mate, basically by doing that which God did, the turning examination. Go ahead.
That's brother, brothers and those who are watching. I want to give a shout out to the organizers of this social, Sister Angela, for the work and she's doing in a team. Dear family, there is a lot of information that's out there from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that's really not being utilized.
Come on.
And one article that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan wrote that I plan on presenting and discussing at this single session is the minister's article, Allah's Choice of Jesus. And in that article, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is asking us to study the way that God selects prophets when we come to decide to select a mate. See, a lot of times we are still selecting mates by either directly or indirectly or subconsciously or consciously, the way that we selected people in the world, where we're putting a greater emphasis on physical features. Physical features are important, but the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that one of the things that we should look at is their relationship with Allah, their faith, right? And I think Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said it. So what makes it difficult, and there's a workshop and an activity that we're going to engage in, when, inshallah, in the single social, we can't avoid looking at ourselves. If we do a very thorough job at self-examination, self-analysis, and self-correction, it will put the person who's engaged in those three principles in a better position to select a helpmeet, because they will know themselves. And when they know themselves, they will begin to be able to know what they need and what they don't need. So like the book copy that I sent you, one of the books that I wrote titled 2 × 5 = 10, is not a book teaching simple multiplication. It's a book built upon the principle that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan shared in the lecture titled male and female relationships. And the principle that he's teaching is that if you don't know who you are, you don't know what to multiply yourself by in order to get what you want in a relationship. And that self-examination is what we're doing. Knowledge of self, brothers and sisters, is not just saying we're the original black man and woman.
Go ahead,
That's the beginning. Knowledge of self is not just solely saying my nature is a Muslim. Okay, that's a part of it. But knowledge of self, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, is knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. Knowing your God and also knowing those other forces that pull on us. Knowledge of self is taking the all about us, but that means that that's like having a house and there's some rooms we haven't gone into. Everybody got some house. Sometimes you got that room. That's where you didn't put all the clothes in there and keep that door closed. And here we don't want to go in that room, but we want to marry somebody and then expect them to come into that house and be able to go into that room and accept what's in the room when we have been avoiding the room.
Bro.
But if we open the door, we know, like, listen, I got a room that stays cluttered. I need help with being able to, put some shelves up. So I'm keep stressing this point because really this is where it is, and this is where the work has to be. It has to be in self-examining ourselves. Like you mentioned a question to me that Brother Sharif asked, what's some of the reasons why marriages are beginning to be so short? As I begin to start growing as just growing at experiencing in life, I'm growing, I'm maturing, and I'm starting to realize that everything is not so black and white like I want it to be. There's a lot of hues and colors in this thing, right? But one of the reasons why I think that marriages are beginning to start being short is that people are getting married, and then one day they wake up and now they decide to be honest about who they are, and then they realize that this is not the right fit for me.
Wow.
It's kind of like going into a retail store and we just buying these clothes and the person say, hey, you want to try that on? No, I want to try that. I know my size. And then one day when it's time to put that garment on or put that suit on, we put it on and we realize that, man, this don't really fit me. And then what do? And oftentimes, instead of beginning to start making the adjustments, man, I got this suit. I got a tailored suit. And one of the challenges about a tailored suit is that it's tailored for you when you weigh a certain amount.
Mm.
So if I put the suit on and I'm having an extra couple of pounds now, damn, do that mean just go throw away this expensive suit? Or am I going to discipline myself to begin to start losing the weight so I can get it to fit?
Right.
And sometimes we don't want to do that work. We like, man, let me just go get this other suit I see hanging on the store that can fit me.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? We go and then we realize that, man, we still got work to do. I don't want to be long, but
No, you straight, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I wanted to touch on what you previously touched on with governing the question from governing love, when Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said love is service, love is duty. And when we're approaching love with the ideas of love at first sight, or I love you because we have similarities, where are people at on those different levels, or at first sight and after small chatting conversations versus them getting together and servicing each other?
I don't, Brother Mustafa, you wanted to say something or what? And I'll come after you.
I'm gonna let you take a stab at that, brother, if you will.
It's based upon the individual. As older believers, we should begin to start having a more mature understanding and understand that love is not just this flowery thing that we see on television or we see on social media or we see on, or hear on some song. But as you mentioned, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that love is in some parts of the English language is considered to be a verb. It's action. You see what I'm saying? So love is also it goes back to self, right? We are taught that we can't even love self if we don't know ourselves. So some of us in the Nation of Islam, just because this world in which we are in, we are beginning to start bringing some of the world's understanding about marriage and relationships into our way of life, right? Getting it. If you look at how some of us get engaged with some of these social media debates about men and women, about roles and relationships, and we do so, and sometimes I sit back and read it, and I notice how believers don't even bring into the discussion what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, what the Holy Quran says, what our teachings is. And then sometimes if we do, we bring it in, we bring the minister's words in as a battering ram against a brother or a sister.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not in the spirit of it. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes we have to be careful that for those of us in the Nation of Islam, we have to understand that this is our way.
Right.
And sometimes because we live in a world they don't have courtship in this world in which we live in. So sometimes the pressures of outside the nation are starting to begin to start wearing down on our marriages and our relationships, and we don't realize that, and we beginning to start suffering.
So it was a part two to that earlier question. When you were saying how a man should go about finding a wife. The part two question was actually it was from a sister. Those was a man's directions. What should a woman do to prepare herself to be found by her king?
I'm gonna go back to that very same thing. None of us are exempt from that self-examination. None of us. So she has to examine herself, and in addition to examine herself, to understand that we are taught that the one of the roles of the woman is a helpmeet. What does that mean to you? Right? And have to be honest about, are there any aspects of a helpmeet that she may not agree with? And be honest about that. Because sometimes we get in and we play the role, right? We play the role, but then when we get into this, when we get on that ship, sometimes you get to a point where I'm tired of faking, and then the real you comes out, and this person like, man, it's not the person that I married. It ain't the person I was talking to in courtship. So for the sisters, I always try to be practical and be straight to the point. Self-examination, get into that. You'll understand what type of mate you want, what type of man you want to be a helpmeet to. And in addition to that, I will say work also on your relationship with Allah. Sometimes some of the sisters don't realize this, and we got brothers on here. Brother Ahmed, you are married, but you were single at one time. You can bear witness, Brother Kawi, brother Mustafa. I keep saying Mustafa. I'm getting it right? How attractive is a sister who studies the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad to you? And I ain't just talking about surface.
Right.
I'm saying you seeing her deal, like you can say she understands that. Tell us, sisters, how attractive that is to you.
Number one, 100%, brother.
Wait,
100%.
Wait, not a body shape?
We're physical beings, but when all is said and done, when we can break down the wisdom, a message to the black man, our Savior has arrived, theology of time, going to the Quran, going to the lessons, that's very attractive. Because
not how many garments she has?
No, sir. No, sir.
Wow. Okay. Brothers, y'all want to add?
It always shows me that through her study, she's able to understand not only the relationship that we have, but her relationship with Allah. So it's definitely important to me that I see that she studies. I see that she has some understanding and some concept of what she's studying, and that she's practicing what she's learning and understanding in her daily life.
So that's another tip, sisters, and that's another tip as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You wanted me to reply? I'm
good
on
on
those.
No, you single. You gotta apply. You're an expert on
this. Yes, sir. So vitally important. It's nothing like being able to have pillow talk with your mate about the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Some of the examples you got, it just strengthens you as a man. It just strengthens you. You got somebody that's truly on your team that can point out things that you can do better. That's always vitally important. But I have a question for Brother Mustafa here.
Yes, sir.
Man, you threw me off with that through the middle. Brother Mustafa, it's the question. I must slip my mind. It's concerning.
What is?
God, I forgot the question. I got to come back to that.
Come back, sir.
But let's do this one, those student brother Mustafa. Yes, I got. They say the brothers, like Ahmed alluded earlier, was that we show our love by service. And another place I heard that a sister showed their love, or what a brother measurements of love is how much he's respected and honored. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Yes, sir. As a man, as a FOI, when you have a MGT by your side in your life, and we understand that the black man is God, and we go back to the beginning of our teachings of how he created himself out of triple darkness, and he called all of this creation into existence. So I understand that that is in our nature, that it's in our nature to build, it's in our nature to create. And then it says that the man, the God went within himself and pulled that second self out of himself. So it's in our very nature as men that we want to please in that way by showing our woman, building new realities, building new creations, and building things like that. And as men, we always want to be appreciated, because whether we go on a job, whether we are in a society, a black man does not get too much of any appreciation in this society. He's a constant disrespected brother. So when he can come home to his woman, see, when the whole world is against him,
Come on, bro.
The police, the foreman on the job, out pushing the final call, people rolling the windows up at you. When you can come home to your mate and she can give you that appreciation and she can speak life into you and she can tell you, baby, I love you, baby, I appreciate you went out and busted behind that we got a roof over here. I appreciate you putting groceries on the table so I can make that good old bean soup for you. I appreciate you keeping gas in the tank so I can go to my MGT class on Saturday. That appreciation fuels and fires that man up to want to give more and go higher into building and being that man for her. So appreciation, it means so much to a man because we don't get too much of it in this society at all.
And I'm glad, and I want to say something. I'm glad brother brought that up, because in different workshops and different settings, I brought that up. And sometimes I feel like there's some sisters that minimize that. And I don't think that they really understand how impactful it is to a man to know that whatever he does, small or large, that it is appreciated. And that doesn't mean that it's a one-way street. Of course, they need to be appreciated as well, but we're talking about from the perspective of men. You know, oftentimes many men stop doing the things that used to give joy or pleasure to their spouses or the women in their life that they love, because they felt like it wasn't appreciated. If you find a man that says, I used to bring roses home to my wife once a month, and you ask him what made him stop, he's going to tell you that he started to feel like it's not appreciated. For a woman who can learn that skill to really make the man in her life feel appreciated, there's nothing that she wants that he wouldn't get.
That's right. Run through a wall for it. That's right.
There's nothing that she wants that she wouldn't get if she made him feel appreciated. So to spend some time learning how to do that. In some ways, it can be very simple. Listen, we're not mind readers. The man that's in your life, give me 10 ways I can make you feel appreciated. Tell me. And then, sister, you got 10 things that you can do. Give me 10 things that I can say to you that will make you feel appreciated. You got 10 things that you can say. And then after a while, you begin to start knowing the man and studying him. You will know what he needs to feel appreciated.
Beautiful.
But if we dismiss that and think, oh, y'all men just want y'all ego stroke. All right.
But with the brother Mustafa, you one of the organizers of the Single Social in Jacksonville?
Yes, sir. Newly installed. I was in an unofficial capacity, just sharing and talking it up. So they say we might as well make this official. I say, let's do it.
So what do the singles have to look forward to when they come?
The beautiful thing about this is we're creating a righteous environment. Our Minister Louis Farrakhan said that we have to create social circumstances where we can meet in righteousness, not a nightclub, not at the bar. So this is chaperoned, it's among the believers. So the conversation is going to be on a spiritual high, an intellectual high. So you have an opportunity to come to be among the believers. You have the opportunity to come and hear Brother Student Minister Willie break down the wisdom and give us guidance of how we can make better decisions in the courtship. And our Ms. Louis Farrakhan said, because we don't ask the right questions in courtship, we end up in divorce. In divorce court.
Divorce ship.
Yeah. So it's a great opportunity for believers. But I would like to add this, that I would say to brothers, particularly since I am a brother, but also to sisters, don't come with a thirsty spirit. Don't come with a spirit of looking where he at, where she at. Because if it doesn't happen and you leave, then you're going to feel disappointed and you're going to feel this is a waste. But if you come with the spirit of, I'm hanging out with the believers, my family, I'm going to enjoy myself, I'm going to put my best foot forward, I'm going to come with my best spirit, then the weekend will be fulfilling for you because you enjoyed your family, you learned something, we got to bond and eat together and enjoy ourselves with activities. Then that's a experience that's worth the price of admission. And if by the grace of Allah, it so happened you meet the mate there, all praise is due to Allah.
Come on,
All
bro.
praise is due to
That's right.
Allah. But don't go there with a thirsty spirit of, the first day you come in on Thursday, you're looking and annoying the sisters and all that kind of stuff, or you looking over at the brothers, but just be yourself. Just put your
Right.
best foot forward. Just allow your Muslim spirit to glow on its own. And if it's meant to be by the grace of Allah, it's going to be meant to be by the grace of Allah. So we're looking forward to welcoming our family from East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, down south, other parts of Florida. Because if I can add this, when I was coming up in the Nation of Islam, we only had one major event a year, and that was Savior's Day.
Mm.
And if you're a seasoned FOI, you know how Savior's Day run. When you touched down on Friday, you was on post. When Sunday ended, you was on post. And all in between, you were on post. So you never had an opportunity to really see a sister or interact with a sister or a brother, if you will. But the great thing now is that we're creating these circumstances where it's more relaxed. It's not a mosque meeting. It's not Savior's Day. It's not Holy Day Atonement where you're ripping and running all the way. You're in soldier mode 24/7. It's relaxed. And you can just kind of see each other in our natural element and see the quality that some of us may have with the questions we ask, the answers we may give during the workshops. You may get to see someone's eating habit. You may be a hardcore vegetarian. You go out to dinner and say, man, that brother ordered a medium rare steak. No, thank you. So it's a learning experience. It's a great learning experience and a great brotherhood and sisterhood experience.
What's the itinerary looking like? The events that you got planned?
The itinerary on Friday we got mini golf going on. I think we still may be doing a beach event on Friday. We're going out to dinner at 3 on Friday. There's going to be a hangout time at one of the believers' home where it's in a more relaxed setting where you can just kind of enjoy each other. On Saturday, there's going to be a dinner and a dance event. Muslims do dance. We do get down and boogie. So that's going to be the other things going on, complemented by, of course, the workshops by our student minister Willie.
No boat ride? We in Jacksonville, Florida?
There is going to be a boat ride on Thursday, but we have a storm in the area that's supposed to touch down on Thursday. So I don't know if that would necessarily impact the Thursday events.
But so if it do, would it impact the rest of the weekend? If so, we have to. I mean, what's the plans on possibly? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because there may be some who are looking who may say, man, it's a storm in Florida. I ain't going that way. But the beautiful thing about this, Allah is God and came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. The trajectory of the storm is it's supposed to touch down Thursday, and whatever it's going to do, it's going to do on Thursday. By Friday morning, going into the afternoon, it's supposed to be going up into the Carolinas. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we know we definitely are good. So that Thursday is that's when it's supposed to impact and hit the panhandle of Florida. So whatever's going to happen is going to happen on Thursday. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is game on.
Yes, sir. So we in the final comments section of the show. I definitely want you, Student Minister Willie, to get the last words, but I want to start with the final words with our brother Mustafa Muhammad. Again, thank you for taking our invitation, Jar brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just want to reiterate again, any brother, any sister who is listening, it's not too late. You can register. You can attend. This is a great opportunity for you to be among your believing family. It's no time like being with the believers. It's no time like being among those who are having righteous conversation. Then we got some amazing events and things that's going to complement your experience coming here. Student Minister Willie is going to give us a insightful workshop that's going to answer some of those questions, fill in some of those gaps that we may have of understanding courtship, going into marriage, understanding each other as FOI and MGT, and how to properly start, a courtship and maintain a courtship. And it's in the beautiful city of Jacksonville. If you've never been here before, why not try something new? If you've been everywhere else, come on down to Jacksonville. Put this on the itinerary. And I just look forward to seeing the believers. Like I say, we only see each other sometime during Savior's Day, Holy Day of Atonement or some other type of thing. And I believe as believers, anytime we have an opportunity within our proximity, we should take advantage of that to see each other and behold one another and love one another. So come on to Jacksonville, family.
Praise be to Allah. Brother Ahmed, final words.
Yes, I just wanted to show the flyer again, the Jacksonville Single Social. Brother Mustafa, where can the believers get some of this information for the flyer? Do they go on your mosque website?
Should be a address at the bottom. I think it may be cut off a little bit, but it should be jaxsinglesocial.com, I believe, in jaxsinglesocial.com. But it should you can go on Sister Angela's page. Let me see if she put it there. Okay, yep, jaxsinglesocial.com, jaxsinglesocial.com. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
And that will give you the ability to register. That'll show you a good hotel we got. That's a good price, and I'll let you know the itinerary and what's going on.
Okay. And that event is taking place this weekend, September, a 4-day event this weekend. For all those interested, if you are single and you're a registered member of the Nation of Islam, please, if you find it in your means to travel, please check out this social. We always promote socials on our podcast because we know that marriage is a foundation of our nation, and we want to promote it and we want to engineer it and get things started with that process. So that website again was Jax,
JAX singlesocial.com.
jaxsinglesocial.com. So all believers, please get all the information you can and participate. Now, you never know what may come out of this. Thank you, Brother Colin.
Yes, sir. My final words is, first of all, I'd like to thank Student Minister Willie for coming to our show. Once again, brothers are constantly working, trying to make our nation a better nation. I salute you for it. You always been a big brother to the Jock Brothers. Brother Mustafa, man, your book sounds exciting, brother. I mean, it's almost like I want to do a show just on that.
Yes,
you
sir.
know? Yeah.
Sure.
So appreciate you coming to the show. You're very insightful.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
hosting the singles. Like you
Yes,
seem like you're gonna make it pretty fun. I want to
Yes,
give
sir.
a couple
Absolutely.
shout outs to some people that's listening. I got Sister Angela, Sister Doreen, she's listening. They've been making a lot of comments throughout the show. I believe they live in Jacksonville as well. If I'm correct.
Yes, sir.
My big brother live in Jacksonville, brother Muwakil. I don't know if you know Muwakil.
Yes, sir.
We was in the Marine Corps together. That's my big brother, and I know he'll probably be looking forward for me to come down there. I see a sister Lakeisha and Monette. Thank y'all for tuning into the Job Brothers as well. And look, so Mr. Willie, you always got open invitation. And you have your own show. Student Mr. Willie also has authored a book in regards to how to look deep into yourself in order to be prepared to look for your court mate. So I had a flyer that I had put on the screen, but it was so small that I decided just to delete it. But can you talk on it quickly?
If you can go to Amazon.com and you just type in Willie Muhammad books, you'll see the variety of books that we've been blessed to put together based upon the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the guidance from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan from those teachings. You know, the workshops that we're going to have also on that Saturday, inshallah, from 9 to 12, we'll have an all brothers workshop. And then from inshallah 1 to 4, we'll have the joint session. And the workshops is not me giving a lecture. It's going to be interactive discussions, and interactive in discussions and activities, and really, connecting people back to principles found in the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad that can help us in this area, because, we talk about courtship. Oftentimes we talk about how the enemy denied us of the knowledge of business, the science of business, the science of warfare, and the science of mating. The courtship process, if done right, can be an antidote to them depriving us out of the science of mating.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. So please get our brother book. Just go with Willie.Muhammad
Yes.
on Amazon, and you'll get the list of all the books he wrote. And he has a great book on Mustafa Mama, who is Mustafa Muhammad, that I thoroughly enjoyed. So
Crazy.
thank you for that. All right, so Student Mr. Willie.
Yes, sir.
Final word, soldier.
The final words as it relates to, the believers and what Brother Mustafa said, I think it was a great point. A lot of times, some people think that if they came to a single social and they didn't find anybody, then it wasn't a success. No, if you came here and you left a better Muslim with a better understanding of courtship, because I really believe that there's a lot of misunderstanding about courtship, and the people walking around realizing that the views and positions that they have on courtship is really not in accord with what we're taught courtship is. But if you come there and you enjoy yourself and you leave with more knowledge, it may prepare you for the person that you will meet for as it relates to courtship. So that is one thing. And once again, thanks to all of those in the city of Jacksonville who are putting this together. This is the second year I participated, and my wife and I attended the first year, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. We had a real good time.
That ain't my dog. Was that it? Was that?
Yeah, that was pretty much it, man. We look forward to it, and this is a point I wanted to make. Sometimes we can have a culture internally that, as Brother Mustafa mentioned, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asked that things like this be organized, where singles have the opportunity to get together. But sometimes you can end up running into, as a single believer, you can end up running into somebody in position or not in position that in an indirect way kind of throws shade on events like these.
Come on.
And takes away from person's enthusiasm to want to come. But if we continue to, if we have those type of environments and spirits where we begin to take away from events like this, then where else a single believer is going to go? You feel what I'm saying? So then when they go to some club or they somewhere where they're not, we ready to throw them out the mosque. But here, when somebody was organizing something, we didn't throw our support behind it.
Right.
So.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Just for the viewing audience, we will be replaying this show a couple of times leading up to the weekend. I really hope that you got something valuable off of this program, especially you singles, in terms of trying to prepare yourself for your mate. I have nothing more to say on this show. And like the great Brother Jack always like to say, it's another one.